Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Just Keep Up podcast, where we are one step ahead. I'm your host, Kurt Johnson. This is my co-host, Pete Zindros. We're excited to be back to you guys on Monday. Big show, lots to talk about, lots to get into. Big show, bro. We're going to be covering the National Football League and giving you guys a week 5 breakdown. So, a lot of craziness happened week 5. So, lucky for you guys, we have lots to talk about. It's going to be a big show. Our featured story tonight is going to be LeBron James and his son, Bronny James. LeBron James is arguably the greatest NBA player of all time, sharing the court with his son, Bronny James Jr. They played a preseason game against the Suns yesterday. And that was the first time that a father and a son shared the same basketball court together in the NBA. So that's going to be our featured story tonight, guys. I'm going to remind you guys to smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, get us to impact and to reach as many people as possible. But yeah, guys, it's going to be a big show. You guys are going to be very entertained today. I also have a big announcement to make at the end of the show, so stay tuned. Other than that, I'm going to turn it over to my co-host here, and he's going to kick us off with the show.
All right, so we're going to run through week 5 of NFL, run through some of these games, and then we'll get into our featured story about LeBron and Bronny. All right. So, first game we'll be covering is Jets-Vikings. The Vikings won the game 23-17, and Aaron Rodgers threw 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and one of them being a pick 6. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. That game again, the timing of the Jets just seemed a bit off, especially the start of the game. The second half of the game, they picked it up. But the first half was definitely a struggle. Now the Vikings are a good team. They're 5-0. So they're a really good club, but, we expect more from the Jets. The first concerning thing was they haven't rushed well the last 3 weeks. The offensive line isn't creating holes. Breece Hall isn't doing anything. Braylon Allen isn't doing anything. I think in total, they rushed for, I believe it was 37 yards for the entire game. The week before that, they rushed for like 20 yards during that game. So, I mean, bro, you barely hit 60 yards in 2 games. Like, you're not winning football games that way. And so they have big problems. The offensive line can't run block. They can't pass protect. Aaron Rodgers got sacked really bad during that game. And, I mean, a lot of people thought that. Because if you go back and watch the replay, that was nasty. And it could have been a lot worse. And so they have major issues. They get their right tackle, Morgan Moses, back next week, which will help with protection because it was very clear he got hurt in that Patriot game. And right after that Patriot game is when the offensive line kind of fell apart. So they do get him back next week going into the Monday night game against Buffalo. So good sign for Jets fans. And then obviously, with the Devontae Adams, kind of deal going on there. Rappaport reported today that he's probably going to go to the Jets or the Saints. And they're looking to get it done very quickly. So within the next 48 hours. So they could get good news there as well. The one silver lining for the Jets is this is the breakout game that we were looking for Garrett Wilson. He was over 100 receiving yards, 22 targets, I think like 15 or 16 catches. So he was good. But yeah, I mean, we're only 5 games in. It's still early. I don't think anyone looks like a world beater. I think there's one team that's undefeated. There's one team that's 4-1, and everyone else is 3-2 or 2-3. So they'll be fine. They're right there. And then as far as the Vikings, they're 5-0. I mean, they're the only undefeated team in the National Football League. They look good. But do I expect them to keep this up? Absolutely not. Like, they're not going to keep this up. But this is a good story for Sam Darnold. I'm happy for him. We'll see how far this can go, but their pass defense isn't great. And then they looked kind of pedestrian in the second half. With as bad as the Jets looked, I mean, they had a chance to go down and win the game, and they were at the 20-yard line when Aaron Rodgers threw that pick. So they were right there from losing. So they have work to do, but yeah, that's my final take on the Jets and Vikings game.
Okay, I just want to make one thing clear. I spoke about this on our last week's episode, and I'm going to say it again. Stop blaming the damn coaches. Dude, it is not the coaching staff's fault. It is not Robert Saleh's fault. As I already mentioned, he's a defensive coach. The defense has been fine. It's also not Nathaniel Hackett's fault for the offensive struggles. Literally, I'm watching these games. These players are simply dropping passes. Timing and chemistry is off, like, on half these plays. A bunch of miscommunication. This game, Rodgers made like a few bad reads that got picked off. That's not Nathaniel Hackett's fault. So I just want to make one thing clear. Stop blaming the coaches. It is not the coach's fault. It's clearly on the players. Like, you could see it. Now, as far as this specific game goes, yeah, I mean, the Vikings played great. The Jets haven't been executing well at all offensively. Like, the offensive line has been really bad. Breece Hall and Braylon Allen can't get no good holes to run the football through. Garrett Wilson had his best game of the season, so that's always good to see. Rodgers, this was probably one of the worst games I've seen him play. I'm not shitting on him for it, but he made a few bad reads. There was 3 picks. One of them was returned for a pick 6, and he did miss Garrett Wilson for a potential game-winning touchdown. So yeah, this was one of the worst games that I've seen him play, but he's still ramping up to being peak Rodgers again and stuff. It's only 5 weeks into the season after him coming off of a torn Achilles. But yeah, I'm sure the Jets will figure it out. The only thing I just want to stop is the blaming of the coaches. It is not their freaking fault.
So yeah, you can finish.
Yeah, I'm sure the players will get it right at some point, but it's not the coach's fault.
Yeah, so the one thing that I will say about that is I thoroughly believe that it's on the job. It's the responsibility of the coaches to put the players in the best positions. Dan Orlovsky broke it down beautifully, where it was a 4th and 1 play, and they were lining up in a pistol, but Braylon Allen was like 5 yards back.
I know exactly
from the line of scrimmage, and they had to get a yard. So he was essentially 7 to 8 yards from where he had to be, and that's 100% coaching. That's the play caller. And I put a little bit of it on Rodgers for I get that that's not his responsibility. He's just the quarterback, but that's on coaching. The offensive line coach, I don't know what's going on, but they can't clear any run game. The run game is just not there. So they have big issues there. And then, as far as Rodgers goes, everyone's slandering him and, saying he had he's terrible and blah, blah, blah. I don't even think it was a bad game. I think he had 2 throws. He had 1 throw that he shouldn't have made. And that was the second interception that he had. That was a bad throw. The first throw, that was a great read. That was just an incredible play by Van Ginkel. Now, 2 things could happen. It could be a great read, and the guy just made a great play on it. And that's what it was. He was blitzing. Van Ginkel's responsibility was to blitz. Rodgers threw it right in the blitz, but he just made a great play, kind of like Nick Bosa did against Arizona, where he was blitzing, and then he was like, wait a second, and he just kind of dropped back. So yeah. 2 things could be true. So on that play, I don't think that was a bad read. That was just a great defensive play. It was. The second one was just a bad throw. He just overthrew it. And then the last one, he was looking back shoulder for Williams, and Williams didn't even turn his head around until the ball was picked off. So those ones I don't blame Rodgers for. I blame him for 1 bad throw. But Rodgers had a chance to hit Lazard in the end zone, and he dropped it. So yeah, I mean, they clearly have issues, chemistry issues. But I don't think it was a bad game. I think, it was a couple bad throws, which there's other quarterbacks, which we'll talk about later, that could make those same things, but they unfortunately just end up dropping the ball, right? And so, but yeah, and I do think it's the coach's responsibility to put the players in the best positions possible, and I feel like they're lacking that right now. But I think if they get Devontae Adams, a lot of that will change. Because a lot of the throws that Allen Lazard, because you could clearly see Lazard he has the chemistry with Rodgers. So it's kind of like Lazard is like the number one option, kind of like. But the only problem is he's not a number one wide receiver.
Right, he doesn't have the talent.
Exactly. So he's getting like all the balls beautifully thrown to him, but he's just not catching a lot of them. But imagine if that was Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
So...
Even some of the throws that Rodgers is throwing to Garrett Wilson, like the back shoulder passes and stuff, like the chemistry's not there yet. With Devontae, that's a catch every single time. Right,
but with Lazard, the chemistry is there. That's why it looks so beautiful, but Lazard just doesn't have the talent to...
I mean, he's solid, feel me, but he's not a guy who's gonna go out there and get you 100 yards a game.
Bro, Lazard has 5 touchdowns on the year already. He has 5 touchdowns. So, bro, he's good, but he just can't. He's not a number one.
The only thing I wanna point out from what you just mentioned was that 4th and 1. I know exactly what play you're talking about. That one play I put on the coaching staff. They were in field goal range, literally. And I don't think they had any points on the board yet. It was 4th and 1. The reason why I blame the coaches for that play is not because they went for it.
Yeah, it was the play call.
It was the play that they ran. They tried doing an inside handoff when literally that has not worked for the last 2 weeks. Like, I mean, if you're going to go for it, at least try something else, man. Like if you want to take chances, go ahead. I'm not blaming them for, not taking a field goal and being conservative, but just don't run plays that haven't been working, dude. That's all. And that one play was their fault. But other than that, I feel like it was just more of a player's thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's the play call. It's the lack of execution. It's the tight ends not blocking well off the edge. It's the offensive line not on the same page and blocking pass rushers. It's everything. But that specific play was a play calling issue where Braylon Allen should not be lined up 7 yards away from the line of scrimmage and 8 yards away from the first down marker. Like, you expect him to it's a 4th and 1, but now you made it a 4th and 8. Like, why is the guy that's going to touch the ball 7 yards back from where he has to get to? So, yeah, bro, like that was a major L. They probably, who knows what happens if, because there's a saying that football is a game of inches. And if a couple things go right, you never know how that game turns out. I mean, Sauce Gardner had a pick in the end zone that he just dropped. So, like, bro, I mean, you never know how these things could turn out. But like I said, again, I think both teams are going to be fine. I don't think the Vikings will, keep this up. But I do think they'll be good enough to get into the playoffs. And I think the Jets are right there as well. I mean, like I said, there's a 5-0 team. There's a 4-1 team. Oh, the Chiefs are undefeated too that I forgot. But... But yeah, and then a bunch of teams are 3-2 and 2-3. So I think both teams will be all right.
Okay, all right. Well, that covers that game. All right, moving on to the next game, Commanders versus Browns. The Commanders won 34-13. The Commanders moved to 4-1. The Browns moved to 1-4.
Yeah. So Jaden, their quarterback, their rookie quarterback, he looks good. Not going to lie, he definitely looks good. This wasn't his best game by any means, but, he's carrying them to victories. And the one thing that I asked for, that I was blaming Caleb Williams in the beginning of the year and he got better, don't turn the ball over. That's the one thing that, I don't care if you don't get yards. I don't care if you don't get touchdowns. I don't care if you go 3 and out and punt it all the time. But you just can't have the turnovers where it's like, what are you doing? You can't have those. Like, when they're going back to the previous game, like I said, I think the only bad read that Rodgers made was that second throw. And that was the most deflating interception because it's like, what are you doing? Like, you can't have those throws. You can even have the picks where, it's like, I see what he was trying to do there. That was just a great defensive play. But you can't have the ones where it's like, dude, what the hell? And that is what I see from Jaden, where he's not making those mistakes that Caleb was. He's not making those mistakes, bro. He looks really comfortable. He looks well. And then as far as the Browns, I mean, they might have the biggest, most difficult task in terms of what they're going to do with their team and how to get out of this contract. They probably have the worst situation in all of sports, if I'm being honest. If you cut him now, you would have $117 million in dead money. If you cut him next year, you'd have $89 million in dead money. And so you're kind of stuck with it. Like even Kevin Stefanski, they interviewed him after the game, and they're like, "Is Deshaun Watson your quarterback?" And he's like, "Yes, 100%. He's our quarterback." It's like, bro, the way that he's played, you just can't say that. I mean, the man has a 69 completion percentage, 69 quarterback rating. I think a little over 50 completion percentage. Like, he just hasn't been playing well. He hasn't had a good game. And you can't definitively say that unless you're not pulling the strings. And obviously, he's not pulling the strings. The owner's pulling the strings. And they kind of have to eat it at this point. I mean, what are you going to do? Blow $89 million? No, bro, you're not going to do that. You have to try to just hope that he gets it together. But his play has been awful. The offensive line, I know is not great. They're awful as well. But this has got to be the worst situation for a franchise in probably all of sports, is the Browns in their current situation.
All right. Starting with the Commanders. Yeah, Jaden Daniels looks really good. The statistics say he's off to the greatest start any quarterback has ever had as a rookie. Not their first year starting, just as a rookie quarterback, which he is. Like his completion percentage, his touchdown interception ratio, along with the work he's putting in with his legs, all that stuff. Like he's currently on pace to having the greatest rookie season ever. The Commanders definitely got their guy there. Now as far as the Browns go, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I know Deshaun Watson has not been playing as good as his contract says, but I don't think he's been as horrible as some people think he is. Like, watching these games, his offensive line is god-awful. His wide receivers, I mean, I'm going to be honest, none of those receivers are bothering to get any type of separation, except maybe Amari Cooper certain games, but even he hasn't been the greatest. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I am putting some of the blame on him, but I'm not putting all of it because, the situation just altogether just looks really bad. And, yeah, arguably they do have the worst situation in sports history right now.
Yeah, I agree. The only reason why I say you have to put the onus in on Deshaun Watson is because it didn't matter what the team looked like. He was awful. He was awful with Nick Chubb. He's awful without Nick Chubb. He was awful with a good offensive line. They lost two offensive linemen. He still looks bad. So it doesn't matter like what situation you put him in. He's just looked bad. And a lot of people said last year they were a playoff team, which I mean, they were a playoff team. But a lot of people said like, yo, this is a built playoff team, right? We just need Deshaun Watson to get us over the hump. That's why they paid him a fully guaranteed contract. And bro, he's the only quarterback in the league with that type of guaranteed money. That's why Deshaun Watson, this is how you know a contract is bad, when they pay a guy a contract and it doesn't reset the market. That's how you know a contract was bad. So Deshaun Watson's contract, everyone else was like, no, we're not paying that money. Bro, to put into perspective, Baltimore was like, don't even bring up Deshaun Watson money because we ain't giving it to you. And this is fresh off of Lamar Jackson winning an MVP. And they're like, we ain't giving you that. So don't even bother. So that just goes to show you, like, once a guy resets the market and no one else can hit that, tells you that it's a terrible contract.
Yeah, like, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Deshaun Watson might be the reason why no quarterback ever gets guaranteed money again. Like, he might be the reason why, literally, bro. Because now teams are gonna be like, no, we're not giving you this. Like, are you crazy? Like, we're better off without you if this is what you want. Like, yeah, bro, like, I'm not gonna lie, he probably killed a lot of guaranteed money for many quarterbacks in the future.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're coming off of a season where you're not playing or you're coming off of whatever injury, whatever, like this is a major risk that teams need to take on. And this is exactly why I get that I get why the players want the guaranteed money for security reasons. But, for Deshaun Watson, I mean, everyone said it even when the deal happened, that this was a terrible, terrible mistake. And I mean, you're seeing it now. I didn't think that it would be the worst mistake in history, but this is starting to become the worst trade in history and the worst contract in history. So,
Okay, moving on to our next game, Colts versus Jaguars. The Jaguars pull it off in a shootout, 37-34, and Joe Flacco was in for the Colts at quarterback this game. What are your thoughts?
Lawrence needed it. He needed it. He was struggling mightily. So they needed this. He needed a game like this. He really did. As far as the Colts, I mean, I don't have too much to say about them. I mean, I think Anthony Richardson isn't what we thought he would be. Even if he was playing, I don't think that he would have played better than Joe Flacco played. But yeah, I mean, I don't have too much to say about the Colts. They're not a playoff team. I don't think they're gonna go anywhere. As far as the Jaguars, are they a playoff team? I doubt that they're a playoff team as well. But Trevor Lawrence did need that type of game because there was speculation, not me, but there was speculation where it's like, should we try a change? So good for him.
Okay. For the Jaguars, this does not change my take on them or my belief in Trevor Lawrence. My belief on Trevor Lawrence is that he will never live up to the expectations he was given. This guy, they were saying this guy is the next Patrick Mahomes when he was drafted. He's supposedly the greatest quarterback prospect ever. He will never live up to those expectations. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think the guy is very good. Like, straight up, this game is not changing my beliefs on him. Like, you look at his career, bro. What has he done besides his second season where for the second half of the year, not even all year, just the second half of the year where he had that good stretch and they made the playoffs. You delete that run, like it's literally just been either ass or mediocrity. Literally, like he's not that good. Like, this doesn't change my belief on him. I still think the Jaguars should, question if he's the guy or not. I don't think they should be fooled by this game. Like, just look at the guy's career. I mean, he had a fluke insanity run for half a season. Like, no, I'm not a believer in Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I mean, he had some odds stacked against him. He's been injured and, battling through. But do I think that Trevor Lawrence is the guy? If I'm the Jaguars, I'm heavily considering that he's not, but I haven't given up on him just yet. Like, I wouldn't consider a quarterback change this season. Like, I wouldn't say, hey, let's give Mac Jones a try. Like, I wouldn't do that. But, I think the Jaguars are in a tough position because Trevor Lawrence is good, but is he good enough to get you over the hump? And if you're not that good, then we have to try something else. I mean, what's the point? The same thing the same thing happened with Dak Prescott, and Dak Prescott's better than Trevor Lawrence. But even the Cowboys were like, is this guy good enough to get us over the hump? And if he's not, then why are we paying him $60 million a year, which is what they're giving him now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I think Trevor is a mediocre quarterback, and mediocre quarterbacks are going to give you mediocre chances to win if everything isn't perfect. So that's my take on Trevor. Now, as far as the Colts go, their offense looked a lot better with Joe Flacco. Now, as far as Anthony Richardson goes, they have two options with this guy, in my opinion. And in my opinion, it should be the second one. The first option is make him the backup quarterback for now because a guy clearly cannot throw the ball at an NFL level. And the second option, which is what I think they should do, put him in the backfield. Straight up, bro. He's a running back. Yeah. That's my take on this game. All right, so moving on. Our next game is the Bills and the Texans. The Bills, or no, I'm sorry, the Texans. Yeah, the Texans
Yeah,
won.
the Texans won.
Yeah, my bad. The Texans won 23-20.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yep, on the game-winning field goal. Yeah, yeah, I mean it wasn't pretty on both sides. The Texans pull it out in the end. Yeah, it's amazing. Just 2 weeks ago, Buffalo was the best team in football, and now they're going to be playing to be third place in their division on Monday. So it's crazy turn of events. But here's what I'll say about Buffalo. It's the same thing that has been said since the start of the year, where Josh Allen. This is a Josh Allen season. This is a season where he has to be Superman for them to win. And when he's not Superman, they're going to lose. It's just as simple as that for Buffalo. As far as the Texans, they keep finding ways to sneak by and win games. But I'd be concerned with the Nico Collins injury. I'd be concerned that, they're not winning any game definitively. These are dogfight games that they're winning, and you're going to lose some of those games, and you just have to hope that it's not in December or January. So I would keep my eye on both teams. I think they're both hinge playoff teams, or just getting in there. But they're both solid teams, and I think we should really evaluate them in December.
Yeah, that's just about what I was gonna say as well. I mean, they're both basically borderline playoff teams.
Yeah.
Most likely chances are they'll both get in. I mean, I don't expect any of them to contend seriously, but
Right.
they should at least make the playoffs. As far as the Texans go, I really think when January comes, Stephon Diggs is gonna kill them. He's gonna demand for the ball, and clearly he's not that guy anymore.
Bro, did you see the Cardi B?
Yeah, Friday on Rumble. Friday. Yeah. Yeah, but Stephon Diggs, that guy's just a loser. I thought he was just a loser on the field. Turns off he's a loser off of it as well.
Yeah, bro. Wow, that's an L. And did you see the way he looked at Josh Allen?
Yeah. Nah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie though. The media did kind of like gas it. They did hug, but that was it. They didn't even like say anything or exchange words. Like it was just like good game, hug, and.
But even the way he stared at him after, I'm like, bro, why is he looking at him like that?
Bro, that's what I'm saying, bro. I freaking hate this guy, bro. Like seriously, I do. Like the guy I hate the most in the NFL is Patrick Maffraud, but it's for football reasons, not personally. The guy I hate the second most is this guy, Stephon Diggs, and it's for reasons bigger than football. Like I genuinely just hate the guy. Like he's a shit dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on to our next game. Ravens versus Bengals. Boy, this was a game. The Ravens won 41-38 in overtime. And mind you, the Bengals had a chance to win the game, but their kicker choked it. And then the Ravens just got it back. Derrick Henry damn near rushed it for a touchdown, but he was short, and they just kicked the field goal and they won it.
Okay. Donna Marco for that game, bro. That game was absolutely incredible, bro. Like that game was wild. That was my favorite game up until this year. That was my favorite game of the year, rather. Yeah, I mean both teams played good enough to win. You could tell both quarterbacks are they're both in the top 5 best in the league. Some people think that one of the quarterbacks that played isn't better than Jalen Hurts, which is, I mean, I don't know how you could watch that game and say that Hurts is better. Yeah, that take is crazy. Are you going to retract that statement?
No, I am not.
So you still think that Jalen Hurts is better than Lamar Jackson?
Yes. Lamar Jackson will not be better than Jalen Hurts until he learns to perform in the playoffs.
Bro, there's no way you could you watch that game and thought from the bottom of your heart that he's not better than Jalen Hurts?
I don't.
That game that Lamar Jackson played was, I mean, Jalen Hurts probably had one game better than that, which is the game of his life in the Super Bowl.
Right, and that's all that matters.
So it matters that he played one better game than Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, because it was on the big stage.
Okay, so now we're measuring who's better tangibly off of how they play in the Super Bowl.
In the playoffs, yes, and that is why I say Hurts is better, because he performs better when it matters more.
So were you saying that Nick Foles was better than Carson Wentz?
No, Carson didn't play in the playoffs that year. He only played in the regular season.
Yeah, but Carson Wentz is also known to not play as well in the postseason, and I mean Nick Foles literally carried them to, and they really didn't even miss a beat with Nick Foles as their quarterback. So are you going to say that Nick Foles is better than Carson Wentz?
I mean, Carson Wentz is terrible. I mean, I'll give it to you if you want to give it to him. Seriously. Carson Wentz is horrible, bro.
Right, but I'm saying that season when he was on track to win the MVP until he got hurt.
Well, that one specific season, I mean, all you could really do is just assume what Wentz would have done. I mean, with the pace he was on, I guess he probably would have done well, I guess. But I'm not going to call you crazy if you want to say Nick Foles was better.
Bro, come on, bro. Nick Foles was a backup quarterback for a reason. He was the literal backup.
Yeah, I know. Carson is just overrated. I mean, we saw what he did once he left the Eagles, but I mean, the guy was horrible. Now he's the one that's in backup positions.
Yeah, bro. So, no, completely L. But anyways, going back to the game, Ravens and Bengals, that was an amazing game. I mean, clearly, Lamar Jackson is the fourth, at worst, the fourth best quarterback in football. Like, obviously, when you watch the Ravens play, he's everything to them. He goes, to the postseason every year. He has better records every year than Jalen I'm talking about. So, yeah, bro, it's not even close. The one thing that Jalen Hurts does good is be a running back, and Lamar Jackson is better than him at that. So, yeah, bro, like, no.
Jalen is better at throwing the football, and they're quarterbacks.
He's not a better thrower than Lamar Jackson.
Bro, yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, bro, Jalen Hurts has, I mean, the you could argue one of the best deep threats in football.
I mean, yeah.
He has two wideouts that he can just toss it up and they're going to catch it. So I think to say that he's a better thrower, I think that would be kind of unfair to Lamar Jackson when most of his career, his best receiver was a tight end.
I mean, I'm not talking about, specifically like what you could make out of the weapons. I'm just talking about specifically like just watching them throw the ball, like who throws more accurately, who could throw further. Like Jalen Hurts is more accurate. He has the bigger arm too. I'm gonna be honest. Like, yeah, bro, I just don't see how Lamar throws better than him. I mean, obviously he's a much better running back. We know that.
All right. How about we measure how they could throw by the numbers? Can we do that?
I mean, what do you want to bring? You want to bring up accuracy numbers? I mean, Lamar's accuracy has never been the greatest.
Right, but I'm saying, like, the only way to judge if a quarterback is accurate is by looking at their QBR. That literally tells you how accurate the quarterback is at throwing the football.
I mean, you could check it if you want. I mean, Jalen Hurts is going to be higher for sure, though, because Lamar has been, considered inaccurate for pretty much his whole career.
Jalen Hurts' QBR is not higher than Lamar Jackson's.
I'm pretty sure it is, bro. I'm pretty sure it is.
It's not, bro. I'll do it right here. You give your take, and I'll do the research. You give your take.
All right. But anyways, getting back to the game, Ravens Bengals. Yeah, it was a tremendous freaking game. Lamar and Burrow both went at it. The Ravens pulled it off. Amazing win for them, but they did get really lucky that the Bengals kicker choked it in the end. As far as the Bengals go, man, they got some problems. Not offensively, but defensively. Like, I mean, if Joe Burrow is gonna throw 5 touchdowns and they're losing games, I mean, what more do you want out of the offense? Like, the defense got to step up at some point. Like, even when it comes to the Commanders, for example, like the Commanders, They scored, I think, 33 points against them, and they lost the game because they literally didn't even force one punt the whole game. So yeah, man, I mean they got a lot of trouble defensively. Hopefully their defense can at least be good enough for them to win games. I mean, they're not good, but at least try not to give up 30 plus every game. That shouldn't be like a super hard ask. That's all I have to say for the game.
Okay, so Jalen Hurts' rating is a 85. Lamar Jackson's rating is a 107.
In terms of accuracy,
yeah, bro, that's their rating.
Nah.
Like it's not close, bro. It's not close.
Bro, nah,
it's
bro.
not close.
That gotta be fake, bro. There's no way Lamar has a 107 rating when he's been considered inaccurate.
Bro, because you gotta understand rating goes according to your pass completions versus your touchdowns and interceptions. That has nothing to do with, like, bro, you're thinking of rating as like a guy just being accurate out of nowhere. Like, no, the quarterback rating is literally your touchdowns, your interceptions, and your completions. That's why Aaron Rodgers has the highest rating of all time at 103. Because it's your touchdowns, your interceptions mixed in, which brings it way down, and then it's your completions, which brings it up.
If that's the case, yeah, Jalen Hurts' season last season is what threw him off on that then.
No, I'm talking about this year. Lamar Jackson's rating is 107.
Oh, for this
Jalen
season?
Hurts' rating is 85. For Jalen Hurts' career, I saw 83.
Oh, okay.
For Lamar Jackson's, I saw 95.
If it's for the year, I mean, yeah, Hurts hasn't had his two best weapons for. Yeah, he didn't have them last week.
Okay, what about for their career? Does that count?
AJ Brown has been out since like week 2, I believe.
All right, what about for their career? Does that count? Because Lamar Jackson's is 12 points higher. Does that count?
I mean, yeah, you could count it. I mean, Jalen Hurts has been good 3 years now. How long has Lamar been good for? 5 years? Yeah, because, yeah, I mean, I guess you could, like, consider it if you want, but, yeah, I'm still not going to pay too much attention to it. Jalen Hurts still throws.
So you're not going to pay attention to the stat that shows you who's more accurate?
No, I'm not. Because I use context, that's why. I use context, that's why.
Jalen Hurts has had better receivers, bro. That's the context. He's had a better offensive line and better receivers.
I mean,
am I wrong?
I mean, Lamar's also had amazing offensive lines, bro. And then
but not better than the Eagles.
And then, I mean, bro, his weapons, I mean, he's had Mark Andrews. He's had Hollywood Brown, who left him because he couldn't get him the ball.
Okay, and how's Hollywood, well, I mean, he's been hurt, but yeah, bro, come on, bro. Like, I mean, we have a stat that shows you who's more accurate, and you're like, I don't want to believe that. So if you don't want to believe that, that's fine. That's just like saying who's a better three-point shooter, and I say, well, this guy's more accurate. And you're like, well, even though the stat says they're more accurate because he shoots a better percentage, I'm still going to go with the other one. Like, bro.
Well, yeah, because you could guard them in different ways. That's why, bro. Like, if one's a bigger threat, he's going to take more contested shots. One of them might just have a horrible team altogether, and he has to take every shot of the game. Like Trae Young, for example, his efficiency metrics are horrible, and he's just chucking all games, so the efficiency metrics aren't great. But bro, we know he could shoot lights out. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, bro. He shoots a lot of them. So, bro. But anyways, yeah, guys, I completely own Pete with that take. Like, no, bro, like it was just the L.
No, he did not.
But going back to the Ravens Bengals, like I said, it was a great game. The Bengals, that was a big L for them. They dropped to 1-4 on the year. It's just a shame because Joe Burrow can't do anything more. I mean, he can't play better than what he's played. He had one bad week in week 1, and then he's played 4 excellent games. And so they're still 1-4. It doesn't matter. So yeah, it's a tough loss for they're in serious trouble. And they're in more trouble because Joe Burrow's played well and they're still losing. So it's not like, we could, once he gets it going, we'll be all right. Like, no, bro, if they had a winning record, he'd by far be the MVP. So the fact that, he's playing the best that he possibly, bro, he had 5 touchdowns and it still wasn't enough. And so yeah, bro. And then as far as, the Ravens, I mean, I don't think they're judged by their season anymore. I think now they're completely judged by the postseason. Lamar Jackson could win MVPs and do this and do that, and then he'll still have guys like Pete disrespect him and say he's not better than Jalen Hurts, who had one good year, which if you look at the good year, it's not even a great year statistically. But he has had one good year. The rest of the years, I mean, we showed you guys the numbers. They're really pedestrian at best. At best, he's the 12th best quarterback in football at best. And that's just what the numbers say. That's me being nice. He's the 12th best quarterback at best. And if you ask me personally, I think he's in the 20s. Not gonna lie, bro.
Well, he had 3 good years, but whatever.
Do we want to pull up the stats for those good years and you let me know
Go ahead, bro. Look up his rushing numbers as well, though. Look up his rushing numbers as well. I'll literally look them up myself right now.
Is he a quarterback or a runner?
All right, take away the rushing stats. What is Lamar Jackson?
Just so I know. I mean, bro, we could go to the numbers as your Jalen Hurts stats. Bro, you guys are getting the stats live.
Exactly, and I'm gonna get you the rushing stats too.
Oh, bro, come on, bro.
I mean, if you don't want to factor in rushing stats, Cam Newton and Lamar Jackson are irrelevant to the game.
Yeah, so bro, like, what was Jalen Hurts' good year?
Jalen Hurts touchdown interception ratio. All right.
What was his good year?
Year 2. I'm just going off passing to interception. I'm not even factoring in rushing.
Go ahead.
16-9, 22-6. 23-15. Now, when we factor in the rushing numbers here, let me pull up the rushing numbers real quick. Give me 1 minute.
Bro, what is this guy talking about, bro? We literally just established that we're talking about quarterbacks. I'm seeing 23 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Is that a good year? It's just a yes or no, bro.
Yeah,
23 touchdowns, 15 picks.
He had 38 total touchdowns last year. Yeah, that's a great year. 38 touchdowns and 15 interceptions.
Okay, hold on. Is 15 interceptions a good year? Because we can also go to the fumbles and see that as well. Because he also had 10 fumbles.
No, I know.
So that's 25 turnovers. Is that a good year?
Fact check. He had 20 turnovers. 5 of them were recovered. Anyways, yes, it was a good year. The Philadelphia Eagles would be pedestrian without this guy. Their coaches got fired mid-season. Like, bro, the team is just complete pedestrian. Their offensive line has fell apart. Their defense can't even guard receivers like me on the field, bro. Jalen Hurts is the only reason why this team even has life right now.
Bro, I'm just hearing a bunch of excuses. I'm just simply asking, is 15 picks a good year?
It is a good year, yes, when you factor in context.
Incredible. Fucking incredible, bro. Okay. The next year, which is the only good year that he had, and like I said, it's good because these numbers aren't top 4. 22 touchdowns, 6 picks.
Right, and he had at least 15 rushing touchdowns.
Oh my God, bro. This guy, bro. Where's the fucking gun, bro? Like, bro. Okay, we understand, bro. We understand. He had fucking rushing touchdowns. We get it. But how many of those were tush pushes?
Bro,
do we have a stat?
He's trucking 300-pound linemen
to
get in there.
Do we have a stat for tush pushes? Because I feel like I can do a tush push. Push me in the end zone.
Bro, no, you cannot.
Push me in the end zone, bro. Could you do a tush push?
No, I cannot. No, I can't.
Bro, you could do a tush push, bro. Give me a fucking break,
You will go all the way back to the other red zone, bro. Jalen Hurts is trucking 300-pound linemen to get in there, bro. What other quarterback is doing that? Literally nobody, bro. Literally nobody.
So you're giving Jalen Hurts credit for rushing when he has 700 pounds of beef pushing him in the end zone.
Bro, he's pushing himself. Ain't nobody fucking pushing him in, bro.
Bro, he has 700 pounds of beef blocking guys for him. All he has to do is just lunge his body in the end zone.
He has to lunge at the 300-pound lineman and truck them, yes.
Bro, incredible.
He's leading them down the field and then trucking 300-pound linemen.
Bro, this is incredible, bro. Okay, so this is like I said, none of these are good. 23 and 15. Even the year that he played good, 22 and 6.
We already established all of this.
16 and 9. 16 and 9 last year. Is that good? 16 pass touchdowns?
That was 2 years ago.
16 pass touchdowns.
Bro, he carried them to the playoffs that season.
Is 16 pass touchdowns for the whole year good is a top 4 quarterback.
Bro, his best receiver was a rookie Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith was his best wide receiver. This team had no expectations of making the playoffs because they missed it literally the year before. He got them there. And then factor in the rushing touchdowns, he had more than 16.
Bro, guys, just ask yourself this simple question. This is like insanity to me. Is 16 passing touchdowns for an entire year in 17 games? 17 games. Is 16 passing touchdowns. That's less than 1 thrown touchdown a game. That is insane. That is insanity to me. And for you to say that, yeah, he's the fourth best quarterback in football for a guy that's thrown for a guy that's thrown less than a touchdown a game. I don't understand this. He could be the greatest rusher on earth. That's not enough. 16 touchdowns, passing touchdowns as a quarterback. That's not enough,
season.
bro.
Yes, bro.
That is not enough.
His best weapon was literally a rookie Devontae Smith. The team didn't have expectations of getting anywhere, bro.
Yeah,
he still got them somewhere. He gave them a chance.
Yeah, so that's going to account for him throwing less than one touchdown a game. That's the excuse. Yeah, that's the excuse for running for Jalen Hurts.
Bro, yeah, he got him there, bro. Daniel Jones threw 15 passing touchdowns the year the Giants made it.
Yeah, no one was calling him the fifth best quarterback in football. That's the difference.
Right, because we saw Saquon Barkley carrying him on his back, so we know the context. Who is carrying Jalen Hurts? A rookie Devontae Smith. Bro, I think this guy had 900 yards his rookie season. That was his best wide receiver for the year.
I mean, bro, like this guy's never thrown for 4,000 yards, which
because
is
of the rushing, and Lamar Jackson hasn't either.
This is easy to do. I mean,
Lamar Jackson hasn't either.
Again, 6-4 this year.
Yeah, I know.
6-4, 16-9 last year.
16-9. What?
16 touchdowns thrown. This is touchdowns thrown.
This is
16 passing touchdowns thrown. 9 interceptions.
You're completely wrong. He had 23 last year. You're looking at 3 years ago, bro.
Yeah. You're right. Last year was 23 and 15. Right. It was 23 and 15
with 15 rushing touchdowns.
Bro. Again, how many of those were tush pushes?
I told you.
Do we have a stat for that?
He's trucking 300-pound linemen, so they're
I
all
don't think
impressive.
He's trucking them. I think there's... Okay, so are we going to ignore the 300-pound beast that's in front of him? Bro, are we going to ignore him pushing the other guy into the end zone?
Everybody has 300-pound beasts in front of them. Why don't all of them do it?
Well, have you ever factored in because they have arm talent and they're not only throwing for 23 touchdowns? Did we factor that in? Our quarterbacks that are actually good, that don't need to be pushed in by offensive linemen?
Bro, what do you mean? He just has a very valuable skill and it's automatic.
Okay, why don't we see Lamar Jackson doing tush pushes? We actually see Lamar Jackson actually doing incredible shit. Like
Lamar Jackson don't got the strength to do it, bro. That's why. He does it his own way. He jukes his way in.
Bro, again, going through the numbers again, 23-15, 22-6, 16-9, 6-4. These are all god-awful numbers.
We already established this. He has amazing numbers,
bro.
Yeah, bro, we already established this, bro. Jalen Hurts got all the numbers in the world. Curtis wants to
all the numbers in the world.
The rushing stats
all the numbers in the world
favors him. Yep.
Bro, to be fair, I don't even go over rushing stats with Lamar Jackson, with Josh Allen. Bro, when have I ever said, bro, no, they also rush? Like, I don't do that for quarterbacks, bro. Is it an additional asset to have in your back pocket? Sure. But I'm not factoring that in to you being a top 5 quarterback, bro. Like, I'm just not doing that. You're a quarterback. You're not a running back.
Bro, if you want to erase Lamar's stats, I mean, you're going to say he's not top 5 either. Like, bro, the guy had 24 passing touchdowns last season, and you're sitting on Jalen Hurts for having just 23. And mind you, Jalen Hurts had 38 total touchdowns for the year last season. Lamar Jackson had 29 total.
Yeah, but it's the picks and fumbles and shit that also goes into play. 15 picks is not good.
And like I said, bro, his situation was just straight up god awful. While Lamar literally got the bye. Like, clearly his team was really good, bro, and much better than what Jalen Hurts had.
Yeah, bro. Bro, honestly, I think they're gonna roast you, bro, because I think they already know what it is to sit there and say that Jalen Hurts is the 4th best quarterback in football. The 5th best. There's not one person out there that agrees, and I know that 100%. There's not a single human being that thinks that Jalen Hurts. Really, that think that Jalen Hurts is top 5?
Yes, I do.
Well, then they just don't know the fundamentals of football.
Now it's this, bro. Now they don't know something because they don't agree with Kurt Johnson.
Hey, man, I mean, anyone with 2 eyeballs could know that Lamar Jackson is clearly better than Jalen Hurts. And so, yeah, I mean, if you combine all the numbers together, I mean, bro, Lamar Jackson is a 2-time MVP for a reason. So, I mean, the stats say it, the voters say it, people with eyeballs say it. There is no way that you could say Jalen Hurts is better than Lamar Jackson.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I don't care that he has two MVPs because then you'd have to say he's better than Drew Brees, who doesn't have any, and there's no way in hell these two guys are in the same tier. No way.
Lamar Jackson is going to end up being better than Drew Brees.
Bro, no, he isn't, bro.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
So,
bro, Drew Brees statistically is the best quarterback ever, bro. He has a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP also. I don't know if Lamar will ever even get a Super Bowl, bro. Like, this guy doesn't perform when it matters. But like I said, bro, yeah. He's not gonna be better than Drew Brees. That's a fact.
Yeah. All right, guys. I want to move on. That was a heated conversation there. We're gonna have to kind of speed through the rest of these guys because we took a detour on Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson. I'm gonna let you guys do the voting though, man. Like, I don't think anyone with half of a brain would say, yeah, I think that guy is better than Lamar Jackson. Like, bro, no, bro. I don't think that's possible. But yeah, guys, we're gonna move on because we got so much to cover in the next 4 minutes. So
Nah, it's all good. We could extend it a bit if anything. But all right, our next game, Packers versus Rams. The Packers won 24-19. What are your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, so Jordan Love almost cost us the game. As you guys know, I'm a Packer fan. I'm a huge Aaron Rodgers supporter, but I'm a Packer fan at heart. And yeah, I mean, Jordan Love almost cost us the game throwing that pick six when he was trying to avoid taking a sack and he just threw it. But yeah, I mean, the Packers got it done, so I'm obviously happy about that. And then the Rams, obviously, I mean, you can't expect them to win games right now. So
yeah, I mean, that pick, I mean, that's just something you can't do. I mean, he might as well have just thrown it to the sideline. I don't know why he tried throwing it straight ahead with the defender there. Like, that was just some negative IQ shit right there, bro. And yeah, I mean, the Rams, yeah, I mean, we didn't expect them to win this game. They still don't have Cup and Nakua, so yeah.
All right, guys, but we're gonna move on. We're gonna let's get into our featured story, bro, because we're really getting up there in time, bro. So we're gonna skip the rest of the games, guys. We'll cover the rest of the games for you guys at the start of next episode. But yeah, let's get into our featured story.
All right, so LeBron and his son Bronny share the court. They make history, the first ever father-son duo, along with the first ever father-son duo in general to share the court, and they're doing it together. So, what are your thoughts?
Well, first off, this is just another reason why LeBron James is the greatest NBA player of all time, and this is probably why he's going to go down as one of the greatest athletes of all time. Because again, it's about storylines. And, what better storyline could there be than, LeBron James is the first athlete to, the first NBA player to play with his son. I'm happy for him. That's a tremendous accomplishment. Not even just in NBA terms, but just as a father in general. Like as a father, you want to see your kids do good. You want to see your kids do better than you. And I don't know if Bronny will do better than LeBron. Probably not. But just him being in the league and him, having a good head on his shoulders. He's not in jail. He's not running the streets. He's doing something that he loves, that he's passionate about. Good for LeBron. So this is just bigger than sports, in my opinion. This is something that everyone should celebrate. Us as, men becoming fathers, you should celebrate that he's doing something with his kid that none of us are going to get a chance to do. And so, that's a tremendous accomplishment for him. And then for Bronny, this is his chance to prove it. He has doubters. I know you're one of them. You're a big doubter of Bronny, but this is his chance. There's no denying that LeBron used his influence to get his son in the league, and there's no problem with that. You see that in every realm of human endeavor. People get jobs because of their moms or their dads. People get certain opportunities at Fortune 500 companies because it's a family business, or they have family connections. You see this a lot in America with the Jays. So that's all I'll say about that. But yeah, so I mean, we see this in every realm in human endeavor. So I don't want to hear like, oh, he just got the job because of his dad. Like, bro, we see that in every other realm in human endeavor. So, but yeah, it's now Bronny's chance to prove that he belongs. And I think he's a nice player. If you guys haven't watched Bronny, he's a guy where his impact isn't going to necessarily be on the stat sheet. His impact is going to be like a Pat Bev, like a Matthew Dellavedova, like a kind of guy like that where he's feisty. He's a great defender. He has great instincts. In his first game, he had 3 blocked shots for a point guard. So, that tells you that he has a lot of energy. He's very impactful on defense. It's just a matter of bringing his entire game together. So, my overall take on it is it's a good thing for LeBron James. It's one of the reasons why he's the most iconic figures in history. And for Bronny, this is a chance to prove himself. But I'm happy for both of them, and I'm happy for LeBron as a player and as a man personally.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll get into GOAT debates in the future, but LeBron James is personally my basketball GOAT. He already has everything in the world, in my opinion, to prove that he is the GOAT. The fact that he's playing with his son is just gonna add on to it because longevity, and for LeBron, it's a big thing because it's bigger than basketball. Like getting to share the court with your own son, like that's an amazing accomplishment because that means you succeeded heavily in your career and also as a father. This is probably something we're never going to see again. Okay, now Bronny, as I like to call him, LeBus James. Listen, I'm tired of seeing this guy everywhere. I have never seen pick 55 be the highlight of a draft. In college, this man averaged a triple single of 4, 2, and 2 on 36-26 shooting splits.
Well, to be fair, he did miss a good part of the year because of the heart attack, and then it's obviously going to take some time to get your legs.
But I'm gonna be honest, bro. Even in high school, his numbers were pretty pedestrian. Like I think his senior year of high school, he averaged like 13, 3, and 5, and for a generational talent, that is like very pedestrian.
Well, no one's calling him a generational talent, bro.
I mean, I know, but the way they're talking about him, they're mentioning him like he's a generational talent. So I'm gonna say that's what they're thinking of him because
But no one's thinking of him as that, bro. They're mentioning his name so much because it's obvious that he's LeBron's son, and rightfully so. I mean, like I said, if your father's the king, people are going to talk about you even if you're the prince. Even if you don't deserve it, people are still going to talk about you because your father's the king. And his father is literally the king. So
Right. Well, considering if his name, all right, say if this guy's name was Tyson Smith, for example, nobody would know who the hell he is. It's clearly clear that it's all because of LeBron. Clearly. So when they keep mentioning Bronny, and he's like the highlight of the draft is pick 55. Guess what? He doesn't deserve it. He clearly got it just because of his name. And when they keep mentioning Bronny all the time, I'd rather hear actual good players' names. Like, why don't we talk about the number 1 pick of the class, Alex Sarr, or Ron Holland, for example, or Rob Dillingham. Like, bro, you barely hear these guys' names. All you hear is Bronny. Like, dude, chillax. Like, I get he's LeBron's son, but the guy isn't even good. Like, bro, like, all these talks just get me tight. Yeah, so far in the preseason, Bronny has not proven me wrong. He absolutely stinks. He is currently shooting like 14% from the field, I think.
Well, bro, again, like I said earlier, he's a player where his impact on the game isn't going to reflect his numbers. A lot of Bronny is hustle, defense, intensity, tenacity, feel for the game. All of these things don't show up on stat sheets, bro. If you look at Draymond Green's numbers, they're not Hall of Fame worthy, but he's going to make the Hall of Fame because of his impact. I'm not saying Bronny James is going to be Draymond, but it's the same idea where, the stats aren't necessarily going to back up his impact and how impactful he is to Golden State. And I think Bronny James's game resembles that in a way where his impact on winning isn't going to affect the stat sheet as currently constructed. Now he could become better. Like I said, this is Bronny's chance to go out and prove. Now that he has the opportunity in the spotlight, this is his chance to prove it. And, I would honestly say that this is not good for Bronny because, people like you, like, bro, there's been a lot of people that have been shitting on Bronny, bro. And so, maybe it would have been better if his name was, Joe Schmo, and he could just go out there and just ball and compete and
He wouldn't be in the
see where he gets
NBA
at.
if he wouldn't be in the NBA right now if his name was Joe Schmo. He
Yeah,
wouldn't be in the NBA.
I mean, maybe, bro, but again, I just think his impact on the game is more than stats, and he definitely has the job because of his dad, but that doesn't matter. It matters about what you do with it, and so from there, it's how you handle it, and you go from there. But I wish both of them the best.
Yeah, I mean, Bronny, like, don't get me wrong. I know he's projected to just be a 3-and-D guy, which is never a big stats role, you know? But looking at the numbers, he shot 26% from three in college. So clearly the 3-point shot isn't there. And defensively, I mean, you look at him, bro, he's a 6'1" guard. How impactful is his defense really going to be at the NBA level? Like, who is he going to lock up realistically? So the shooting isn't there. And then you factor in the size. Defensively, he might not be as good as some people think he might be. And it's like, yeah, bro, that's just a complete pedestrian at that point.
Yeah, man, I hear you, but like then you could say, well, what about guys like Chris Paul? What about guys like Pat Bev? What about shorter guys, but they compete and they fight?
Well, Chris Paul has actual skill, and I mean, he was projected to literally be like the point guard and all that stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
he made a
Yeah,
Hall of Fame career out of it.
yeah,
Now, as far as Pat Bev goes, I mean, defensively, Pat Bev is one of those anomaly types defensively because you don't really see a guy being that good of a defender at his size. So Bev is like one of the only few guys I could mention, and through eventually his 3-pointer ended up becoming good. Eventually, it didn't start off good, but he's a good 3-point shooter now. And I mean, yeah, I mean it worked out for him, but we'll see if it could happen for Bronny. I personally don't see it though.
yeah. I mean, we'll see. It's definitely on the table, bro. I'm not gonna lie, it's on the table. At least that's what JJ feels, and that's how the Warriors felt because they were trying to pick Bronny, but out of respect,
Yeah, let him slide
they
to the
let him slide
Lakers.
to the Lakers. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
All right, guys. Yeah, but so I want to move on. We're creeping up on time here. I want to move on. I want to get into our big announcement, guys. And that's on at the end of every show besides Monday. So Wednesday, Friday, we will be going to Rumble for 30 to 45 minutes, um, possibly over, depending on if what we talk about in the topics. Which this Wednesday coming up, we're definitely gonna need to go maybe even over an hour. But yeah, if you guys are interested in the truth, if you guys are interested in politics, geopolitics, how the real world works, political issues, differences between men and women, dating, etc., go to Rumble, guys, because that's where we're going to give the raw, uncensored truth. And the last thing I want to say about this, guys, quickly is you don't have to be the biggest political guy to follow us on Rumble. You don't have to be the biggest guy at, trying to attract women, or if you're a girl trying to attract men. As long as you want to seek truth and you understand that things aren't as they seem, then you want to follow us on Rumble. If you're intrigued by conspiracy theories, if you know that the world around us is that, like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen The Matrix before, but the whole theory is, what we see is not what it actually is. And so, guys, if you are intrigued by that even just a little, please go on Rumble, make an account, follow Just Keep Up Podcast. We'll be on there. We already have probably pretty much the same views as YouTube already on Rumble, guys. So if you guys haven't already, please show us some love and support. Go to Rumble. It takes 2 seconds. It's just rumble.com. Go on there, create an account. It literally takes 30 seconds, guys. And then follow Just Keep Up Podcast. And we'll be airing every Wednesday and Friday there with whether it's history lessons for you guys about, world history, or, certain dictators that had an impact on people, or, if it's differences between men and women, whatever, what's going on in politics. Wednesday, our featured story is going to be Donald Trump and JD Vance, and their bro, it just really irks me to talk about, but this is the reason why I'm not voting. But as you guys know, today's January 6th. The 7th, and
Wait, today's October 6th.
Sorry, October.
Is it the 6th?
No,
or
it's the 7th. It's
Yeah,
October. It's October 7th. Yeah, October. Guys, it's been a long show. But October 7th, as you guys know, a year ago, Hamas declared war on Israel, and so it's the year anniversary of that, and so Trump and JD Vance decided to put on the yarmulke and say a prayer and do all this stuff. And JD Vance made an announcement talking about how if you're not a real American if you don't stand for Jews and etc. And that's all I'll say about that. I don't want to get us in trouble, but yeah, guys. So if you're interested in all that stuff, we're gonna be covering all that. So definitely follow us on Rumble, guys. Again, you're just going to go to rumble.com, or you can download the Rumble app on your phone. It's a streaming platform. It's a free speech platform where you're able to say things you want to say. Very similar to YouTube. It's just more, what would you say? More rated R?
Yeah.
Like just more uncensored.
Yeah, basically, Rumble's basically just a rated R YouTube. You could literally say whatever you want on there. We're taking Wednesday and Friday there, so we can really like say what we want to say. Like, I mean, generally speaking, Wednesdays we couldn't cover damn near nothing because it's politics. And then Friday, I mean, Friday didn't really hurt us like that. But if we're gonna go to Rumble with politics, we might as well take dating and self-improvement there, so that way we could really like shit on the people that we want to shit on, because YouTube is soft. They probably weren't gonna let it slide anyways. So yeah, I mean, we're just gonna give you guys the best possible content we can here on YouTube. It's gonna be all sports. Don't worry, Wednesdays and Fridays we will also give you guys a sports show for you sports fans out there. It'll probably be like, I don't know, 20 to 30 minute videos for Wednesdays and Fridays, and then we'll just hop on Rumble and do like another 30, 45 minutes on the topic there, because that is our main focus for those days. Mondays is our main focus for sports, which is why we're giving you guys this hour-long episode today.
Yeah, guys, and honestly, guys, if you guys like Kurt, if you guys like hearing Kurt talk, if you guys like, when Kurt is engaged, etc., I mean, politics is my favorite show. Like, politics, talking about geopolitics, talking about how the real world works. Like, for example, the Biden administration and Kamala and was trying to say that, Trump wants to raise the taxes 15%, but that's not really what it actually was. He wanted to put tariffs on trade. And so, for those of you that don't know what a tariff is, you're just taxing on imports and exports. You're not taxing the consumer. But whatever. So yeah, guys, if you want to learn more about like that type of stuff, about history, etc., again, guys, not to be echo chamber or anything, but rumble.com, Just Keep Up Podcast, that's where we'll be. But that's it, guys. That was our big announcement. I want to move on to the end of the show. Do you have anything before we end the show, bro?
Nah.
All right, guys. Yeah, so, guys, I hope you enjoyed. This was a great show, jam-packed show, big episode. We went through NFL games. We got a little derailed there talking about Jalen Hurts. Things did get a little heated, but it's all love over here, bro, as always. So, yeah, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. If you guys haven't already, like and subscribe. Get us to impact as many people as possible. Other than that, we'll be back to you guys Wednesday. That's going to be a 30-minute show, and then we're going to hop on over to Rumble and talk about
Mustache Man.
Yeah, Mustache Man, bro. Band topics on YouTube. So excited to bring that to you guys. But yeah, guys, until next time, stay one step ahead and enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right. Peace, guys.